Let's talk about groups of 3, eh? When it comes to sexual exploration, having a threesome is the most daring and exciting thing you can do. It's like the holy grail of sexual experiences for some people. But often, these people find out the hard way that what they thought they wanted was more of a dream than a reality. When people want to be in a threesome, they usually have a clear, idealized picture of how things should go. Our dreams rarely come true in real life. And if we have too many hopes, they can be crushed by the pain and confusion of awkward and embarrassing situations. Tom's tale. 2 of my friends have had something like this happen to them. And their mistakes can teach us a lot about how to get along in a threesome, which is not always easy. I asked them if I could write this article, and they said it was fine. They helped me make sure I was right about everything. They thought things were going to be fun. They used an online service to find a lucky boy to join them in their sexual sessions. Before they did it, they talked about it for a long time. They thought that everything was going well. Tom watched a lot of porn, just like most people who live and breathe. He made his way slowly to the cuckold section of Pornhub, where he felt right at home. Even though he watched porn with 2 women and 1 man. He couldn't deny how excited he got when he watched videos that played on the fantasy of a man watching his wife or girlfriend sleep with other men. He started to imagine that his girlfriend would do the same thing. He kept it all a big, vague fantasy for a long time. It was like he had put an elephant in his closet. His feelings were so big and strong that he had to work very hard to keep them inside. He decided to talk to his long-term girlfriend about it at some point. She didn't mind the idea, so they started daydreaming about it. Then, one day, they came up with a plan to make Tom's dream come true. They went online and started looking at online profiles to find a third person to invite into their bedroom. They found a good-looking guy who seemed pretty chill, and they sent him a message. They talked about it for a while, and the guy seemed open to it, so they set a date. Tom tried hard to make his dream of being with 2 other people happen as soon as possible. 2 weeks after the first time they talked, they chose a night. They had talked about it a lot, and they had found a great guy. What could go wrong, anyway? Then it was time, and the guy came to their apartment. I'd meet people in public first to get a feel for them before inviting them to your apartment or giving them your address, but that's just my opinion. When the guy came over, everyone took off their clothes. While Tom watched, her perky tits caught the eye of her lover. She gave him head, but he didn't give her head. This is the first sign for any woman that sex will be bad for her. She felt sad and down. This guy was very angry and cocky, so he took out his dick and slid it into her. He slid in because she was very excited and drenched. She liked pumping just as much as Tom liked to watch. But the guy was ready to come in about a minute. Hey, that's fine, we all have bad days, but we should try to plan our quickies for times when we're not with a group of 3. He quickly stepped back and told her to spread her legs so he could step on them. Tom didn't plan for this to happen. She didn't like it, but I'm sure she would have if they had talked about it first and gotten everyone's approval. She told me that they both felt their hearts sink at that moment. As if all this time and work had been for nothing. After putting this thing together for months, they only got 2 minutes of action and a strange thing that neither of them saw coming. She said, "No, I don't want to do that." The guy did the worst possible thing, he begged. Literally. He started begging her. She said no again. Tom said that he wasn't interested in that kind of thing. When they asked the guy to come over, they didn't have that in mind. The guy kept begging. Then he started making them feel bad. "Come on, I'm not getting off, and I'm going to get blue balls." Hearing them tell the story, sounds so sad. They stood their ground and said no. In the end, they made him leave. What a terrible thing to live through. The guy got himself off by going to the bathroom. He jerked off in their bathroom while they looked at each other with long, sad frowns. It's true. They gave him his clothes and told him to go home after he got out. He didn't waste any time putting them on and leaving. They felt like it ruined their big night. After they got over it, they were together for a few more years. But they didn't want to have another group of 3. Why did it go wrong? And there are some very important lessons to learn from this. First, you should always meet a potential partner in public before you invite them to your house or, especially, your bedroom. Second, talk things out. Try your best to give the other person a clear picture of what you want. Get them to picture it. Yes, make concessions when you have to, but don't break any of your hard limits, and don't expect them to either. Don't be afraid to get together with someone a few times just to eat or drink. If someone can't spare a few hours to come to meet the person they want to fuck, they probably shouldn't be fucking you. Don't forget that this is your big night. You don't want anyone else to mess it up. But also remember that the other person is a person with needs and wants of their own. They should also have a good time. Many people treat their extra partners like property, and this isn't because of porn culture. We need to get rid of this. Make sure everyone is happy in your threesome to make it the best it can be. How do you do that? Make sure everyone knows what to do. Why have a group of 3? One of the most important things to think about when planning your threesome is why. Why are you doing this, to begin with? People often choose to be in a threesome because they want to spice up their love life. Date nights are always the same. It's like a machine. You wonder what happened to the passion. This problem will be solved by a threesome, but that's not the only reason you should have one. If you've never had one before, you can't know what to think or what to expect. One of the best things about having a threesome is that you and your partner can go on sexual dates outside of the house together, as a team. This is a great way to feel. Most of you already know about comparison, which is when someone feels happy when they watch their partner act sexually or romantically with someone else. But don't underestimate how powerful it is to flirt and date at the same time. It's an amazing thing to do. Knowing your why before you meet with your trio is important. It shouldn't be just so that one person can live out a dream. Try to get more involved and make it something you and your partner can do together. Cover your bases, but don't worry too much. Don't be afraid to take your time and make sure you've gone over all the important details, like kinks and expectations. You don't have to get everything just right. Some people become perfectionists as soon as the idea of a threesome comes up. It will probably be sweaty, a little gross, and shorter than you think, especially if you're used to watching porn. But make sure you've thought of everything important and have a plan B in case something goes wrong. How will you stop the action, deal with any problems that come up, or put an end to the whole thing? Is everyone aware of this? Think of everything. But don't obsess. The key to happiness is to have low hopes but firm standards.